Hello everybody, this is Howard, Teaserking, coming to you with week 11 of the NFL. Can you believe it's week 11 already? Well, the lock of the year was beautiful last week. Denver, Arizona, just the way it should have been. Just beautiful. Denver had to win after losing to New England. They're pissed off, and they get Oakland, who they dominate. Oh, it was just a beautiful, beautiful next game. And Arizona at home is so strong. They play St. Louis well. St. Louis is beat up. St. Louis gave them a game for a couple of quarters, and Arizona pulled away just at the right time. We're only laying one, so we just needed them to win, and that's all they do is win. I mean, they're 24-3 in a teaser in the last 27. Enough said. That's beautiful. That's what you look for when you're locking. When you're playing anything, you're looking at trends. You're looking at injuries. Now Carson Palmer's out, so we got to look at it. I might have 2 or 3 locks in the pros. I'm kind of deciding. One I love, that'll be locked for sure, and then the other 2 I'm not. I'm just kind of waiting on the injuries and everything else. Spreads are a little bit high that I'm looking to lock, but we'll see what happens. This should be a good slate. First I want to talk quickly about teams that have very strong trends with the teaser overall, and they would be Philadelphia, Arizona, Cleveland, and then huge trends are Denver, San Diego, and Kansas City. And then smaller trends are Baltimore and Indiana. Now, what I mean by Denver, San Diego, and Kansas City are like 88% in a teaser. Philadelphia and Arizona and Cleveland are like 85%, and then about 80% are Baltimore and Indy. These are over the last 2 years, roughly. I look at this year, like Cleveland's, I think 8-1 in a teaser this year. Last year they're not as strong, but consistently Denver, Kansas City, and San Diego are huge in the teaser. Philadelphia started slow with Chip Kelly, but in the last 15 games they're getting stronger and stronger in the teaser. And Arizona is Superman. I just said 27-3 or 24-3. It's an 88% number. It's huge. The play against teams are the weak teams: Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Atlanta, Washington, Houston, and Oakland. And the frustrating part with this year is I keep getting Tennessee playing Washington, Atlanta playing Washington, Tennessee playing Jacksonville. You don't want them playing each other. I want Denver playing Jacksonville. I want San Diego playing Washington, Kansas City playing Atlanta. That's what I want. I want that mismatch. That's the lock. That's what you're praying for. And I haven't really gotten it very often. Like this week, I got Atlanta at Carolina. What am I supposed to do? I can't bet against Atlanta. I got Washington and Tampa Bay, both bet against teams. What do I do there? I mean, that's been the problem. Houston's at Cleveland. Okay, I can play Cleveland there. That's all right, going against Houston. But I mean, it's just, I think the matchups this year have been a very hard thing. You've got the NFC West and the AFC West playing each other. That means Denver's got to play Seattle, Denver's got to play Frisco, and Kansas City. And you don't want Denver playing Seattle and Denver playing Frisco. You want Denver playing Washington. You wish Denver would be playing the Giants and Dallas and those teams. That's where your locks come in, when you have domination. And now it's too much risk. You got Seattle and Kansas City. It's a lot of, I don't know. I mean, you don't want that matchup. So part of what's happening this year is I'm getting bad matchups, unfortunately. So you can't really pound the team you want to pound, and that's very, very difficult sometimes. So a lot of it, you're at the mercy of the schedule to look at that. All right. With that said, let's go down the list. Cleveland laying 7 to Houston. Oh wait, they're only laying 3. Under spread. That spread should be 7. Cleveland is not Cleveland last place. Cleveland is now first place Cleveland, which is like Cleveland is, let's say, Pittsburgh now. If Pittsburgh was laying 3 to Houston, would you play them at home? Of course. That's how you have to look at Cleveland. They're not terrible last place Cleveland. They're 6-3, I think. First place. You're only laying 3 points at home. Take Cleveland. You get 3 points at home against a bet against Houston team with no quarterback. You know, I know J.J. Watt and Clowney, I don't know if he's playing or not or what his impact is, but somehow Cleveland's winning. I don't love the game, but I do like Cleveland getting 3, betting against Houston, and betting on a pretty good Cleveland team. The Bears against Minnesota, laying 3. I have them laying 4. Well, okay, let's analyze the Bears getting beat 1,000-0 the last 2 weeks. Who beat them? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Where's their weakness? Obviously, they can't cover. Obviously, they can't get a pass rush. Who are they playing this week? Minnesota. Who's their quarterback? Don't have one. Some kid from high school. Minnesota will not be able to take advantage of Chicago like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers did. So it does show you when Chicago plays those super quarterbacks. So you wish next week Chicago's at New Orleans and we'll be locking New Orleans. That's what you look for. That's the trend. That's the matchup. Minnesota's matchup will not cover it. In the series, Chicago's 6-0, the last 6 in Chicago. Chicago owns the trend here. Take Chicago plus the 3. Ditka's bitched them out. I'm sure Butkus bitched them out. And I would think that the Bears are going to play their best game against the team that they normally beat at home, Minnesota. I don't think they'll rout them, but I think Chicago plays a decent game at home. Only because they've been blown out 100-0 the last 2 games. That this is it. I mean, this is you know, they're not a playoff team. Neither is Minnesota, but I just feel the Bears will give an effort. I don't love this game. I'm not playing it at all or playing it strong, but in my opinion, I think the Bears plus 3 will win here. Green Bay laying 5.5 to Philly, over under a 55. I like this game 2 ways. I like Philly getting 11. I like over 49. This has over written all over it. Green Bay will score on Philly. Philly's explosive, will score. Philly's got a pretty good pass rush, better defense than Green Bay. Philly will definitely keep this game competitive. Take Philly in 11.5. But I also think over 49 is, if you look at the score, that would be 28-24 is a 52. There's no way that both these teams aren't going to get in the 30s in this game, because Philly will score on Green Bay, causing Green Bay to pass and Rodgers to pass, and he'll be able to do that. So it's a double play here. You can. I wouldn't tease it in the same teaser, for example. I just don't like to do that unless it's the Super Bowl and I'm forced to. That's the only time I tease the over/under and the game in the same thing. But definitely, I like over 49 and definitely Philly in 11.5. Kansas City laying 2.5 to Seattle, or it might be 2, whatever, 2.5. You're getting more than a touchdown. That's all that matters. Take Seattle in 8.5. Trend Seattle in 8.5. Kansas City's been very good, 87% against the number. Probably if the spread's 1 and you can get 5 in Kansas City, it's probably good. But you can get over a touchdown with Seattle. Let me tell you one thing: these teams and players and coaches know they're the dog, and they get pissed, and it's a motivating factor for these professionals when they are the dogs. So you got Seattle with a lot of pride, Super Bowl champs, getting points against Kansas City, who's not that strong of a team to be, messing with the big boys now. Like I talked about Michigan State in the college one, how Michigan State isn't ready in a big game to be favored. Kansas City is Michigan State. This is a big game. They're not ready to be favored. Had Seattle been a 3-point favorite, I'd have probably locked Kansas City in 9. Because Seattle is not going to dominate them, and Kansas City is a home dog. That would be a great play. This is different. Kansas City's favored over Seattle. Now you piss Seattle off. Seattle don't like to be dogs. They're a very strong road dog. Take Seattle in the 7.5, 8.5. Get it over a touchdown. Very strong. Take Seattle there. I'm not even going to waste my breath on Carolina, Atlanta. I could care less. Washington, Tampa, like I was talking, they're both bet against teams. Washington should be a 4, laying 7 to Tampa. Who's Washington to be laying 7 to a college team? I mean, they're terrible. I can't play this game. I think both teams suck, and I'm not going to bet on teams that suck. So the comment here is, if you force me, I take Tampa in 13, but I don't like this game. Denver laying 9.5 to St. Louis. They're starting Sean Hill, who's a much better quarterback than Austin Powers or whoever was St. Louis's quarterback. I like Denver laying 3.5. Again, the key to this is them losing to New England. Now New England is the #1 seed, so therefore Denver's motivated. They have to win. I don't see it having a problem winning by more than 3 here. If it was 7, I would lock the game. At 9, I might lock the game. I'm deciding, but I like Denver laying the 9 down to 3. They'll win, but Sean Hill will make it more competitive than the other quarterbacks. So, but definitely Denver's got the trend, and they need to win, and they cover all the time. So I definitely will take Denver here. San Francisco laying 4 to the New York Giants. New York Giants are terrible. Frisco's terrible. They're both terrible this year. Frisco got a surprising win at New Orleans. Harbaugh seems to be not yelling because he's afraid of hurting feelings. I mean, come on, this is football. I'm ready to throw up at the whole thing now. I like Frisco +2. The trends are Frisco. They're a great road favorite. The Giants are not a good home dog. You know, they don't really have trends. Their trends are all 50-60%. Old Giants at a home dog, I'd take. These Giants, I don't see it. I think Frisco wins. Frisco's got a lot of injuries. Bowman's out. They get the linebacker in. They lost Willis, and they get Justin Smith, I think. So that's a wash. They're still missing Bowman. They're still not the Frisco of old because of the injuries. But I like Frisco +2 here. San Diego laying 10 to Oakland. Now this is a real mind-boggler. You think it's automatic to take San Diego because they just lost 37-0 to Miami, and they're pissed off. All of Denver and all of other teams that have been blown out. Ryan Matthews is probable. I don't like him. I think he's terrible. I like the other kid, Oliver. But that'll help neutralize and make them two-dimensional, San Diego. To me, as long as Rivers and Gates play, that's all I care about. The trend in this game is interesting. Oakland and the Dog are 5-0 the last 5 in San Diego, and Oakland is 11-0 as the Dog in this series. Game at Oakland, San Diego came on and won 27-24 or 30-27. We won laying the 1 point, but it was way too close than it should have been. Oakland plays San Diego very well. It's an underdog series. I have the line at 7. The line is 10. The line's a little bit high. If it was 7, I would lock this game. At 10, maybe 10.5. So as much as San Diego's pissed about losing 37-0 and having a bye, hopefully they got some of their injured safeties and cornerbacks back. I still am going to take San Diego, and this is where my expertise and the art of what I do comes in. Normally this would be an Oakland play, getting 16, and it probably will be a winner at Oakland +16. But at the end of the day, San Diego must win this game because they got to win to get to the playoffs. They've lost the last couple, and this is do or die for them. They're at home against a weak Oakland team. San Diego covers and covers. Again, I locked them against Miami because they were the dog, and they are something like 18-1 now as a dog on the road. And that's why we took them against Miami, and I was stunned of that score. And that's, you know, but that could lead to this week, and you get your little revenge back. So, yeah, San Diego laying the 4. I'm going to go with, even though the play is probably Oakland in 16. I just find that there's too much on the line for San Diego. And they play Oakland well at home, even though the dog's been good. San Diego's still winning. They've just been laying a bigger number at home. I think they laid 10 last year and they won by 13. So they covered, but the dog covered too. But again, because the spread's so high. So I think San Diego laying 4 wins. I think a must-win and the revenge and the losing 37-0 will all come into play here. I was at the San Diego-Seattle game, and San Diego, it's a loud stadium, and it's like a college game, and I honestly don't see Oakland winning here, so I lay the 4 points here. One of my favorites, Detroit, Arizona. The spread's even or -1. If Detroit goes favorite, we're locking Arizona. I don't care if Johnny Unitas is at 60 years old is the quarterback for Arizona. We are locking Arizona if Detroit goes favored by like 2 points. I can get Arizona with more than a touchdown at home. It will be a lock. I have a feeling that Detroit will end up being favored in this game. And I really don't know why. And I guess, Carson Palmer out, but Drew Stanton's fine. He threw the clutch touchdown last week. The key to the bet is Arizona at home. Arizona defense. Their defense will swallow up the Lions. Stafford hates the press. Good luck throwing on Peterson, Honey Badger, and Cromartie. They got the best secondary in the league. And they got an outstanding defense. And in my mind, I don't think Detroit's defense is that good. And I think Detroit's been playing lucky. I mean, they should have lost to Atlanta. They lost to Buffalo. They should have lost to Miami. They're getting all these miracle wins, but they're not blowing anybody out. They're competitive, but they played Miami and Buffalo and Atlanta, and okay, give them the Green Bay win. That was a good win, and give them the Giants win. But wait a minute, the Giants are terrible. So really, who have they beaten? Okay, the Green Bay game probably. But outside of that, they're going to go to Arizona and win against one of the best teams in the league. Not Detroit, not as a road favorite. And I know Drew Stanton, he's a pro quarterback. He threw the big pass. He'll lead them up, but the defense will have at least 3 turnovers in this game, which will lead to at least 14 points. The Lions will not score that much in this game. Take Arizona plus the 6 as it stands. If Detroit goes favorite, double up on it. Arizona will not lose this game, especially right now. You get them plus 6, plus 5 if some sites are -1, but definitely take Arizona here at home. They will win. And keep in mind, when I put my spreads out, I'm looking at all the casinos in Vegas, 'cause that's where I'm betting it at. So I'm going to shop around. So some guys go, well, wait a minute, I got an 8 here and you got a 7. Yeah, well, there's 10 casinos. I'm not stupid. Why would I lay 8 when I can lay 7? So when I put my spread on the site, I'm putting the best spread that you should shop for and get. You only go to one internet site and the spread's 8 and I'm laying 7. Then you need to go and shop at more sites on the internet. If you want to make money betting on football, it's like buying a stock. Why would you pay 40 for a stock when you can pay 35 for it? You wouldn't. Well, why would you lay 7 when you can lay 6, or lay 3 when you can lay 2? Get multiple sites. If you're betting and you're serious, you have the money to bet. Otherwise, you're not betting. So you've got to shop around and look at the spreads. There's many. Go on scoresandodds.com. Go on Las Vegas Insider, and it shows you. Las Vegas Insider is really good. It shows you about 8 or 9 internet sites and all the casinos. And you can see right there where the best ones are. And that's where I would sign up and say, oh, yeah, here, these 2 are congruent. This one is the highest spread, and this one's the lowest spread for this game. So therefore, those are the 2 sites I want to be on. And that's all it takes, but you got to shop and get the best spread. All right, enough with that. Indy laying 3 to New England. Here's a stat for you. New England in the last couple of years are 11-1 as a road dog. Enough said. I have New England favored by 3 in this game. Indy's favored by 3. Take New England plus the 9. I'm tempted to go over with it, but last time I was going to go over in the Indy-Cincy game. Cincy failed to show up, so therefore we didn't make the over. However, it's Tom Brady. He's the underdog. You don't mess with Tom Brady as the underdog. Take the 9 points with New England. I would lock the game, but Indy's very good at home. Andrew Luck. I'm not going to lock it, but I'm very tempted to lock it. I love New England anytime they're a dog against anybody. I bet them as the dog in the championship game at Denver, and I won. So it's a big game. Again, New England and Denver are the #1 seeds. New England owns it because they beat Denver. New England must win the game because they don't want to go to Denver. They will have plenty of incentive, and Brady's playing out of his mind the way he normally plays. Indy's very good at home. The trend is New England by a little bit. They're a little bit better, and they're a great road dog. Indy's a good home favorite. They've been blown out Jacksonville and Tennessee when we blocked them earlier. But here you've got them. You know, again, they played Baltimore close. You know, this is a real team, not an Indy and not a Jacksonville or a Tennessee. So I definitely look for New England plus 9. If New England wins, would anybody be surprised with Tom Brady? Absolutely not. Gronk's playing. I like New England in the 9 here. Last game Monday night, Pitt laying 6 to Tennessee. At first glance, this would be an obvious, well, let's bet Pitt. Got to be even. My spread's Pitt -4. They're laying 6. I do want to bet against Tennessee in this situation, but Pittsburgh's also a bet against road favorite. What does that mean? Well, when they're the road favorite, their personality is they don't know how to handle it. They're not very good as a road favorite, and that's how they lost to the Jets last week. I mean, look at them as a home dog against Indy and the other game I don't remember, and they win easily. Now you put them as a road favorite, and what happens? They lose to the freaking Jets. Are you kidding? So here they are at Tennessee. On paper, it looks obvious Pitt will win. They're a terrible road favorite. Tennessee's terrible all over the place. I mean, I guess I would play Pitt even, but I don't think Pitt's. I don't see Pitt winning by a lot here. I think this will be a close game, and I don't know why. But Pitt's not very good. Again, Pitt's not Pitt. Pitt's 5-3 or something like that. This isn't 7-1 Pitt. This isn't 6-2 Pitt. This is 5-3 who got blown out by Cleveland Pitt, who lost to the Jets Pitt. So you've got to understand, don't play the brand. This game's, I think, a little bit high in the spread. I think it should be 3, and you get Pitt in 3. That's about what it should be. This is a little high spread. Very small on Pitt here because we're going against Tennessee. But I don't know. There's something wrong with Pitt, obviously. But again, it's this personality. This team's a great home dog, but they're not a good road favorite. So that would be it. I could have 3 locks in here. Not sure yet. I mean, really, I could probably lock Philadelphia, Seattle, and Denver, all 3 of them, and New England. I go on and on and on. So, but nothing really stands out. I don't really want to lock. The problem is I don't want to lock against Aaron Rodgers. I don't really want to lock against Andrew Luck. It's tough who they're playing to lock against. That's where I'm at with that. I like a little bit stronger mismatch. So we'll see. Maybe Denver, I'm not sure yet. Anyway, this is it for the pros. We should have a real big week. We got so many live dogs. I love it. I got New England and Seattle as dogs. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you, football god. And then we got Arizona. Hopefully that could be the trifecta if they're the home dog. Oh my God. I'm praying Detroit gets favored. I mean, I don't know. Detroit, yeah, they got a decent record. I don't buy this #1 defense. I don't see it. Their offense, I mean, Stafford's terrible. Yeah, I know, whatever you think. Kellen Moore should be their quarterback. I told my buddy, I said, if Kellen Moore was the quarterback of the Lions, they'd be undefeated. And he looked at me like I was nuts. And I says, do you think there's an accident that they won 50 games in the 4 years at Boise, and since then they can't even win, they can't even go 500 without him? I mean, the guy's a great quarterback. I don't care if he's left-handed or he's too small or whatever. I mean, he wasn't too small at Boise. I remember the Georgia game, and they pounded Georgia, and they were up like 35-10. I think they won 35-23 or something. I mean, he's the quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over, and all he does is score. And this Matthew Stafford's just so bad. I mean, he'll start off looking good, and then he just fades, throws too many turnovers. I guarantee 3 picks in this game by St. Louis. A couple of them will be returned for touchdowns or something. They'll have a few defensive touchdowns. That's why I'm not worried about Carson Palmer. They will not be able to run the ball on Arizona. So it's strictly one-dimensional, and Patrick Peterson will have a field day. He'll take Kelvin Johnson out of it, but he'll keep throwing to Kelvin. That's where a couple of the picks will come in. Anyway, this should be a strong pro week. Again, I'm kind of waving about my lock. I don't know. I know one of them absolutely for sure. The others, I could lock 2-3 college, but they're not great locks. They're good locks, and same thing in the pros. Not great, but they're good. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, have a great weekend. Good luck to everybody, and thanks for listening, and thanks for being customers. And you got questions or comments, you can email me anytime. We'll see, but we'll get some winners this week for sure. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. www.teaserking.com, and this will make a lot of money this week, I'm sure. All right, have a great weekend.